Welcome back. All right, so the Pacific Division has been the object of scorn and ridicule for years, but there are three teams right now who are playing very, very well, and they've kind of separated themselves a little bit from the teams chasing the top three spots. And I'm not sure that any of these three are going to slip and end up outside of the top three positions in the division. It will surprise some that Vancouver is not a top three team at this stage, but over the summer and early on in the season, when we'd have meetups or subscribers would ask me, what do you expect from the Canucks this year? I would just say, I don't think they win the division again, and I'd leave it at that. I still felt like they were a playoff team. At this point in time, I would give about 50-50 odds on that just because Utah's got a lot better. Colorado's very likely to make the playoffs. There's only so many places to go around. But Vegas, LA, and Edmonton don't have to worry about that. So, Vegas, of course, your 2023 Stanley Cup champions. I'm wearing Vegas because they are the top team in the division. Record of 21-8-3. 32 games played, so 45 points. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. At home, they're 12-3. Away from home, they're 9-5-3. No matter where you play against Vegas, you're going to get a pretty tough night. They are 6th in goals scored per game. They are 13th in goals against per game. The defense, the goaltending, not as good as the offense at this point, but we know how good they can be. Their power play is 5th in the National Hockey League. Their penalty killing is 17th. We know their penalty killing can be better. So there is room for improvement, and the team's already first in the division. Their hits, 19.78 hits per game, or per 60 minutes. That's 21st in the National Hockey League. They're not as physical of a team as they used to be, although it feels like they hit a little more this year than they did last year. At least it feels that way. But yeah, this is a very skilled, very good team. Jack Eichel leading the way in scoring, 9 goals, 33 assists, 42 points. Barbashev, 15 goals, 15 assists, 30 points. Eichel might be having the best season of his career. Barbashev is having the best year of his career. Theodore, 4 goals, 23 assists, 27 points. Quietly putting together an excellent season. I don't hear his name come up in the Norris conversations, but it probably should at least come up. Mark Stone, 6 goals, 19 assists, 25 points. He's played less than 25 games, so he is above a point per game. And when Stone's in the lineup, they're defensively better. So if Stone plays the rest of the way, that could help the penalty killing numbers and their goals against per game as well. Hurdle, 9 goals, 13 assists, 22 points. Not as prominent with Vegas as he was in San Jose, but that's fine. For what Vegas needs him for, he has been very effective. Now in net, Aiden Hill, 14-5-2, 901 save percentage. His quality starts number, in terms of how many games he starts where he has a save percentage of 900 or higher, it's only 42.9%. That's low. Now Samsonov, 7-3-1, 897 save percentage, but 54.6% of the time that he gets the start, it's a quality start. So the overall numbers favor Hill, but if you're looking at which one gives you more quality starts, it's Samsonov. Now, the strength of the remaining schedule, this is where if you really want Vegas to fall apart and end up at the bottom, I got bad news for you. They've got the easiest schedule the rest of the way in the National Hockey League. They're 32nd in remaining strength of schedule. And so I got that from Tankathon. If anybody's wondering where I got that from, it's from Tankathon. And so, yeah, that means that Vegas has a relatively easy schedule the rest of the way, which is bad news for teams in the Pacific, in the West, and perhaps throughout the playoffs. So they're in LA on February 24th in terms of teams on this board here. They host LA on March the 9th. They are 2-1 versus Edmonton this season, and the last game against Edmonton will be on April the 1st. So Vegas has a schedule where they meet LA twice, they meet Edmonton once. As long as they win the games that they should, those games may not mean a lot because Vegas does look like the best team in the division, although LA needs to be talked about there as well. They're 19-9-4 overall, 42 points. So they've played the same amount of games as Vegas, and they are 3 points back. LA 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. At home, they're 10-2-1, away from home 9-7-3. So a good road trip gets them above 500 on the road. Their home record is fantastic. Things are going pretty well for LA no matter where they're playing. Their goal scored per game is 12th, which is not a surprise. We know that offensively they're not as gifted as they are defensively. As defensively, they are first in goals against per game. They're on their way to a Jennings Trophy. Power play, not so much. 29th. So kind of a powerless play there. But their penalty kill, very good at 9th. Their hits per 60 minutes, 22.04. That is 14th in the National Hockey League. So the most physical of the 3 teams on the board is the LA Kings, which, when you look at the rosters, will not surprise you. So Kopitar leads them in scoring, which is also not a surprise. 10 goals, 27 assists, 37 points. Adrian Kempe, 16 goals, 15 assists, 31 points. Laferriere, 12 goals, 12 assists, 24 points. Fiala, 12 goals, 8 assists, 20 points. And Trevor Moore, 6 goals, 12 assists, 18 points. Moore had a career year last year. He's struggling a bit more this year. I blame it on the bobblehead that I've got of Moore. So, Hannah. But at any rate, yeah. Moore, 6 goals, 12 assists. I hope it's not the bobblehead that I got that's caused him to... Because if I have those kinds of hockey powers, I have to learn how to use them for good. Riddick, 10-7 record, 890 save percentage. But quality starts, 66.8%. Kemper, 8-2-4 record, 913 save percentage. His quality starts number, 66.7%. So about 2/3 of the time when these guys start, you're getting a quality start. The overall numbers tell you when Riddick has a bad night, he has a bad night. But he's been pretty good, pretty high quality, and they're winning most of their games with Riddick in the net. So their strength of remaining schedule is the hardest one on the board. They are 9th. So the LA Kings are going to have a tough schedule the rest of the way, comparatively speaking, with both the Oilers and Vegas. But with the style of hockey LA plays, which is very defensively minded, low event hockey, not as dramatically low event hockey as what they were playing late last regular season, but it's still something to admire, is how they can really shut things down in the middle of the ice. And their remaining schedule tells you they're going to have to do that against some pretty good teams. Now, they host Edmonton on December 28th. So that's the closest meeting we have of any teams on this board. Then they're in Edmonton on January 13th. They host Vegas February 24th. They're at Vegas March the 9th. So they've got 4 games remaining against these teams on the board. If they can win all 4, there you go. But it's easier said than done, right? All of these teams are playing pretty darn well. And again, with that strength of schedule being tough for LA, it might make it more important for them to win those games than for the others, because Vegas and Edmonton have an easier schedule. Now, Edmonton has also played 32 games. So what's nice with this board today is all 3 teams have played the same number of games. Edmonton 19, 11, and 2 overall for 40 points. So 2 points behind LA, 5 points behind the Vegas Golden Knights. They are 8-2 in their last 10. So over the last 10 games, 16 points, 17 points, 15 points. Yeah, these teams are playing pretty darn well. At home, the Oilers are 10-7-1. Notable because their home record was a bit of a struggle earlier on in the season. Away from home, they're 9-4-1. So now they're good at home. They're good on the road. Where else are you going to play them? Their goals scored per game is up to 8th. Their power play is up to 12th. And I remember when both those numbers were much lower. Their goals against per game is 12th. Their penalty killing 26th. That is something they're going to need to bring up. I would think that just organically it will come up. Now their hits per 60 minutes is at 13.78, which is 32nd. So they're last in the league in terms of hits per game. Not a huge surprise for anybody who's been watching the Oilers this year. They're not really a physical team. They're more of a team that's, relying on their skill, and they do block shots, but they're not an overly physical team. Leon Draisaitl leads the way in scoring, 23 goals, 27 assists, 50 points. Fantastic season for Draisaitl. McDavid, 15 goals, 30 assists, 45 points. Bouchard had a bit of a slow start, but he's picked it up. 6 goals, 17 assists, 23 points. Nugent Hopkins, 6 goals, 12 assists, 18 points. And then Zach Hyman, 27 games, but he's got 11 goals, 6 assists, 17 points. So Zach Hyman's played pretty well. I know he'd like to get a spot on Team Canada if there's an opening there. We'll see if that happens at Four Nations, but for now, he's not on the team. Their goaltending is always talked about, but if we look at the numbers, so Skinner, 12-8-2, 893 save percentage, but quality starts, 54.6% of the time he has a save percentage of 900 or higher, which puts him at the same level as Samsonov and higher than Adin Hill. Now, he's not at the same level of Riddick or Kemper, and he's not at the same level as this backup. Pickard is 7-3 with a 901 save percentage, and 70% of the time that Pickard starts, you get a save percentage of 900 or higher, which is all you can ask from your backup, that he gives you a chance to win when he's in the net, and they've got 7 wins and 10 decisions when he's in the net. Now, the strength of remaining schedule for Edmonton is 29th. So while Vegas has a pretty easy time of it, when you look at that schedule, Edmonton's schedule is not daunting either. So this is a chance for the Oilers to likely jump past LA. And maybe that's your first round matchup, is the Oilers hosting LA for games 1, 2, 5, and 7. I feel like we've seen that before. And it's one of those things that I know drives people crazy about the current playoff format, that, the LA Kings could have a great regular season and still end up playing the Oilers in the first round. But if it was 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, those things still happen. Those things absolutely do still happen. Not with the same regularity. No, I will agree there, but those things do still happen. So for the Oilers, they're in LA on the 28th of December. So we'll have that one to watch in about exactly a week's time. No, a week from tomorrow. There we go, a week from tomorrow. And then they host LA on January the 13th. So those are important games for the Oilers. As I said, if you factor in strength of schedule, they might be more important for LA. And as previously mentioned, the Oilers will be playing Vegas for the 4th time on April the 1st. And that'll round out their matchups with Vegas unless they meet them in the playoffs. And then that's where the question comes in. So for Vegas, they were champions in 2023. They went out in the first round this past playoffs. For the LA Kings, they had struggled with the Oilers in the first round year after year. And for the Oilers, they got all the way to the Stanley Cup final. They were one win away from being Stanley Cup champions. So is this the year that we see the Oilers pull that off? I think an argument can be made for any of these three teams to go on a run. The Kings are overdue for going on a run. They have a very good team. This would be a chance for Kopitar to perhaps get that last run at a Stanley Cup. And remember, that 19-9-4 record, that's without Drew Doughty. Doughty's going to be coming back not too long from now. And so that should positively impact LA as well. So, yeah, could be kind of fun to watch the rest of the way. Now, if you're wondering about the strength of the remaining schedule for other teams in the division, and I was curious, so I made sure I wrote this down. Seattle's got the 3rd hardest schedule the rest of the way. So if you're a Kraken fan, it's not good news. Anaheim is not good news either. They're 5th. San Jose's 10th. Vancouver's 12th. And Calgary's 13th. So every team chasing them has a more difficult schedule than Edmonton and Vegas. LA has a tougher schedule than San Jose, Vancouver, and Calgary. Their schedule is a bit easier than Seattle or Anaheim's. But for the LA Kings and the style of hockey that they play, they're pretty good at adapting no matter who they're against. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. In regards to which of these three teams do you think is going to be the most dangerous come playoff time, and why? And which team you think could, win that next Stanley Cup, and which one you think might drop out. So it looks like these are the top 3 teams in the Pacific. I'd be kind of surprised if it changes, but of course it could. So which one do you think would be most likely to drop out if one was going to? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.